久美子はどの曲がいいと思ってる？
想像してみたの。全国で北氏が演奏するところ、その最初の一音は何がいいかって。
何？
クラリネット。
だから言ったでしょ。
The first two seasons of Hibike Euphonium released in 2015 and 2016, an eternity ago by anime standards. They chronicled the story of Omae Kumiko in her first year at Kitauji High School as part of the school's concert band. The band pulls off a miracle, going from a no-name program to qualifying for nationals through the trials and tribulations that anime fans have come to love in these types of stories. Combined with Kyoto Animation's renowned attention to detail and animation quality, we ended up with a beautifully crafted growth arc for both the band and Kumiko herself. 9 years from the start of Season 1, Hibike Euphonium Season 3 arrived at last in 2024. With Kumiko's second year having been covered by a movie, we enter the new season in her final year of high school, now as the band's president. Hibike has always been closer to a character drama than a sports anime, and Season 3 picks up right where the show left off. Kumiko faces no shortage of challenges that force her to reflect on who she is and what she wants, from herself, from her friends, and from her life, as the Kitauji band aims for even greater heights. This culminates in the shocking finale to the story, where all of the threads of Hibike converge into what I consider the greatest payoff in anime history. The first thread is the most typical of these stories, centered around a desire to win. As a middle schooler, Kumiko had little to no ambition, playing in the concert band without purpose, idly satisfied while Reina was frustrated. We see that she grew up playing the euphonium because of her sister. That reason is now a distant memory. She continues playing simply because that is what life has led her to do. When she enters Kitauji High School and the new band advisor Taki-sensei arrives at the beginning of Season 1, it's clear that this time around is going to be different for the band. Taki-sensei turns the band's self-proclaimed goal of making nationals into his weapon. He is blunt about their lack of skill and pushes the band members far beyond their comfort zone to perform. At first, Kumiko, like the rest of the band, is resistant to the pressure, but by the end of Season 1, Episode 4, Taki-sensei and Reina have won Kumiko over, and she embraces the mindset of wanting to improve. The reformed band's ambitions take a dramatic turn with the auditions. Members who work hard have to get cut, and skill takes precedence over seniority. The trumpet solo re-audition between Kaori and Reina in Season 1, Episode 11 is the critical moment when the band is forced to make a choice. Take Kaori, who was snubbed in her previous year and has one last chance to perform, or take Reina, who is clearly better but has 2 years ahead of her. For the first time, Kumiko does something that stands out and shows conviction. She is the first to vote for Reina. When the band hesitates, Kaori takes matters into her own hands and does what she feels is necessary for Kitauji to win. She willingly gives up the solo to Reina. From that moment, the band becomes truly united in its goal to go as far as it can, whatever it takes. The following episode is one of the highlights of Kumiko's development. She openly admits to Reina that she wants to be special too. She rises to Taki-sensei's challenge on whether she can perform a part well, only to be shut down by her own lack of ability. What follows is the famous Umaku Naritai scene, where Kumiko completes her evolution from aimless teenager to driven musician. With all of the frustration that comes with having ambitions. This scene is the foundation on which the rest of Kumiko's growth lies, as we feel her pain as real as if it were our own. The Kitauji band finds success at both the prefectural and Kansai competitions, earning their spot at nationals, but they fall short there, walking away with a bronze as season 2 concludes. They fare no better in Kumiko's second year, with the loss of the talented third-year students leading to disappointment. Thus, season 3 opens with Kumiko and Reina seeking only one thing in their final year: gold at nationals, and this time as executives running the club. To achieve this goal, Kumiko and Reina not only stay true to the meritocracy they have built Kitauji up to be over the years, they take it to the next level. But the introduction of a transfer student, Kuroi Mayu, puts them to the test. Mayu also plays the euphonium, and she's very good. Good enough to compete with Kumiko for the spot in the trumpet euphonium solo. With the new audition per competition system they put in place themselves, Kumiko desperately tries to hold on to her solo with Reina, knowing that she cannot betray the same principles that got Kitauji to where it is. The better player always plays. The relationship between Kumiko and Reina is one of the main reasons why Kumiko comes off as such a relatable narrator. What starts off as a comical awkwardness grows into a sense of admiration, as, thanks to the pressure Taki-sensei is putting on the band, Kumiko begins to understand Reina in a way she never could in middle school. Nevertheless, Reina still feels like a distant entity to Kumiko, until Kumiko accidentally invites her to the Agata Festival in Season 1, Episode 8. The scene that follows, on top of Daikichiyama, is an unforgettable one in the eyes of any Hibike fan. We experience, through Kumiko, the otherworldly being that is Kosaka Reina. Both her absurd love for Kumiko's bad personality and her fierce desire to become special by playing the trumpet. Neither we nor Kumiko can see Reina the same after that scene. The two act as each other's support system through the drama of the band auditions, with everyone around them having mixed feelings about the trumpet solo audition. Leading up to the re-audition, Reina shows the slightest signs of wavering under the will of the band members, worried about becoming the villain. In an uncharacteristic display of resolve, Kumiko backs her up unconditionally and puts herself out there with a reciprocated confession of love for Reina's ambitions, a feeling she's willing to die over. By this point, it's clear that Reina has brought out something from within Kumiko that even she herself didn't know she had. Through Season 2, Kumiko and Reina grow closer as they come to understand each other better. They wonder what it really means to become special, and Kumiko helps Reina work through her feelings for Taki-sensei. The pair reach their first real point of tension in Season 2, Episode 11, when Kumiko hides the fact that she learned about Taki-sensei's late wife. Reina, deeply upset, brings them right back up to Daikichiyama and has a touching moment of weakness. Resolving this tension makes Kumiko and Reina even more in tune with each other's emotions, and their relationship solidifies into one befitting of best friends who care deeply for each other. Season 3 amplifies both the ups and downs of their friendship, now in its third year. Episode 5 highlights Reina's stake in it, which has evolved significantly since their early days. She first shows a tinge of jealousy in wanting to play with Kumiko after she hears Kumiko and Mayu practicing together.
クロエさんと吹けるなら私とも吹けるでしょ。
Later that same day, she reveals her deep-seated anxiety about the two of them drifting apart after high school if Kumiko doesn't continue pursuing music. Again, on the night of the Agata festival 2 years later, they now stand as equals, and what they have with each other is so special that Reina is terrified of something getting in between them. That something arrives in Season 3, Episode 8 in the form of Mayu. Leading up to the second audition, Reina expresses both her concerns about Kumiko's performance, as well as her aspiration for them to play together. The first time she's had two strong, conflicting feelings. When Mayu wins the audition and takes the euphonium solo from Kumiko, Reina is disappointed, but not surprised. As Kumiko struggles to acknowledge her failure, Reina is unwavering in her trust of Taki-sensei and the system, offering no support to her friend.
どういう結果であれ、私はこれが最善だと思ってるから。
It's cold, but she doesn't know any other way to react, no matter how badly she wanted Kumiko to win. Things become really heated in the next episode as Kumiko grapples with how to deal with the unease that permeates the club after the shocking auditions. She wavers, half-heartedly siding with Reina in the conflicts, but clearly unsure of herself. Reina becomes impatient with Kumiko, frustrated by her friend's unwillingness to commit to their shared belief that had gotten them to this point. She ultimately calls out Kumiko as a failure of a president in the tensest moment of the entire series. This is the first time Kumiko and Reina truly clash ideologically, and it breaks our hearts to watch it happen. Against the backdrop of their unyielding friendship thus far, we can feel Kumiko's loneliness as she tries to figure out how to move forward without Reina. That brings her back to her old senpai Asuka and her second major growth moment, this time not as a musician, but as a leader. Early in Season 1 of Hibike, Kumiko plays the role of an observer to the drama within the band. Whether it's the discontent with Taki-sensei's approach, Aoi quitting the club, or the audition results, she mostly avoids the conflict. Reina's audition is the turning point, when Kumiko realizes that there are things she personally wants from the band, and she becomes willing to go after them. Season 2 is all about Kumiko reconciling her desires with her traditionally passive personality. She tries to help resolve the Mizore and Nozomi situation, but gets relegated to a spectator. The rest of the season centers around Asuka's situation, her mother pulling her from the band in order to focus on entrance exams, a most typical drama. This turns out to be a catalyst for Kumiko's growth as a leader, as her bandmates lean on her relationship with Asuka to bring Asuka back. Through inspiration from her sister's own experience and advice, in Season 2, Episode 10, Kumiko finds the strength to confront Asuka with her true feelings, that she wants to play together with Asuka at Nationals.
そんなんだったら言わなきゃいいのに。でも嬉しいね。嬉しいな。先輩、何？顔見てもいいですか？ダメ。
Although this ends up being an inconsequential part of Asuka's return, it shows that Kumiko has turned into someone who can move others with her words and feelings. Kumiko's second year includes 2 more pivotal leadership moments involving new first-year students. The first is helping Mirei, a tuba player who doesn't fit in, reconcile her relationship with the other members of the band. And and the second is confronting Kanade, who tries to throw her audition for a euphonium role in order to avoid kicking out the vice president Natsuki from the competition. Kumiko's handling of Kanade in particular shows how adept she's become at connecting her own emotions to those around her in order to lift them up and make them believe. These events earn her the position of club president at the end of the Chikai no finale movie, going into her last year at Kitauji. As president, Kumiko sees firsthand what an immense burden it is to shoulder. She has to manage the misconception of the Kamaya sisters, the first years not responding well to Reina's pressure, Motomu's family situation, and Taki-sensei's audition decisions. She knows that her ability to do this is critical to keeping the band focused on their goal of winning gold at nationals. So she puts on a friendly face, hears everyone out, and solves their problems, only to let her exhaustion out whenever she can get away from it. After Kumiko loses her solo role to Mayu in the second audition, we can see just how much stress she's under, desperately trying to keep people together while suffering herself. This is the ultimate test for a leader, how they respond in situations like this. When Kumiko turns to Asuka, we breathe a sigh of relief, as there is finally someone who can help her. No matter how flippant Asuka may be, her wisdom gives Kumiko enough breathing room to realize what she needs to do. Kumiko has a moment of inspiration and gives a last-minute emotional speech that rallies the band, leading them through the Kansai competition to qualify for nationals once again. In Season 3, Episode 12, all three threads, ambition, Reina, and leadership, come crashing together in the climax of the show. With one final audition before nationals, Kumiko has a chance to win the euphonium solo back from Mayu. In a juxtaposition with Reina's audition from Season 1, Taki-sensei sets up a blind public audition to decide the outcome. The band's vote is perfectly split, leaving the decision down to one person, Reina, who has been relentless about wanting to play with Kumiko. The setup is all there for Kumiko's triumphant victory. But in the background of Season 3, there's another storyline about Kumiko's future after high school. No matter how many times Reina suggests it, Kumiko never believes that going to music school is right for her. She finds her true calling, and while not explicitly shown yet, it's clearly teaching, not music itself. This resolution just before the climax is a sign, but even so, we can't help but believe that Kumiko will be rewarded in the end, because she deserves it. Hibike subverts this in a big way, even deviating from the light novel, and Reina chooses Mayu, leaving us and the band speechless. It's not fair. After all Kumiko has gone through, it's not fair. How could the band, Reina, KyoAni, do this to her? To top it off, she outdoes Kaori and proclaims defiantly that the decision is the right one for Kitauji. It's the perfect callback to the meritocracy they created in their first year, but we cannot help but despair. We are Kanade in this moment. Why? How can Kumiko accept this and be so strong? And like Kanade, we have no choice but to move on and be comforted by Kumiko's words.
かなでちゃんは強い子だね。
Had the episode ended here, it would have painted Kumiko as unrealistic, someone who can endure what feels impossible to endure, a fictional character. But the beauty of Hibike is that Kumiko is not that. She's just a normal person who strives to be more, which brings us back once again to Daikichiyama. Reina is sobbing because she knew that she was picking Mayu, even after all the promises they had made together, and she's in anguish over the conflict within her heart. Mirrored from the first time on the mountain, this time it's Kumiko reminding Reina that she's special. And that's why Kumiko knew Reina would recognize the hesitation in her playing and pick Mayu for the solo. But then, Kumiko finally breaks down, like the human she is. She wants to be proud and she and Reina lived up to their principles, but she can't hide her underlying emotions. Kumiko did want to be better. She did want to play the solo with Reina. She did care badly about winning the audition, and she's so frustrated she could die. This is what makes everything Kumiko has done so far so much more powerful. That despite her own shortcomings and selfishness, she could rise to become the leader Kitauji needed, even when it meant giving up the things she wanted most. That is the story of Omae Kumiko. Thankfully, the band is rewarded in the final episode with gold at nationals, the capstone of their high school journey. A melancholy shot of Kumiko during Reina and Mayu solo contrasts with the joy of finally achieving the band's dream. The series ends with Kumiko becoming a teacher as expected, bringing her learnings about herself and leadership to the next generation. It's practically impossible to make it through these last few episodes of Hibike Euphonium without shedding a tear, or more likely bawling your heart out. Kumiko is the most complete character in anime. We understand everything about her as if we were in her shoes. And the portrayal of her personal growth is nothing short of a storytelling masterpiece. Even after the first 2 seasons, you can make an argument for this. But the way Season 3 brings all the threads of Kumiko's journey together is, well, the ultimate payoff.